Can you share an experience that you've had with working with one of your many high-profile global clients?
Indeed, I can. So I was performing Two Men Talking with Paul on the West End of London, and somebody from one of the world's biggest media companies came up to me after the performance, and she said, could you train a group of people who are attending our annual conference? Now, she explained to me that this company had what they called an emerging markets division, and that people from 40 or more countries were going to be coming together to really form a new team. And these were countries in Asia, Russia, Poland, former Eastern Bloc countries, Africa, Egypt, Israel, Iran, all coming together to become a team. She said, and it's very challenging because some of these people come from countries that actually hate one another and have been at war with one another. So you're going to have to form some kind of connection between these people who come from warring countries. I say, I would love to do this, and I fly off to Cyprus, the country where East meets West. And I've talked to the vice president who's going to be running this entire conference, and he says, you know, we want to create magic. We want to do something that's really extraordinary here, something that's really out of the box. And I know exactly what to do. I'm going to do my grandparent exercise. I'm going to take a circle of people and get them to share their grandparent stories with one another, because all of us have had a grandparent. It's the thing that unites all of us. And it's going to be this amazing way of communicating to everyone what your legacy is, what your heritage is, what's important to you. Anyway, so I'm at the conference and everyone's assembled, and I give an introductory talk about storytelling and the power of storytelling, and the VP gives me the thumbs up. So I give the instruction. People are going to go around the circle and they're going to present themselves in the first person as one of their 4 grandparents. A woman from Iran starts. She tells the story of her grandmother, who at a very young age became a widow and then was sold into marriage a second time and had multiple children. The woman began to cry. Her neighbor tried to comfort her, gave her a tissue. I said, listen, emotions are very welcome here. We are sharing stories with one another. We are sharing ourselves with one another. Just because someone cries while they're telling a story doesn't mean they need to be taken care of. It's fine. Emotions are just a part of storytelling. Second woman tells her story. She's a Belgian woman. And she tells the story of how her grandmother experienced the famine. And she begins to cry. And the next person begins to cry too. And each time I'm saying, listen, this is part of storytelling. If we're really genuinely talking about connecting head to heart, we've got to experience emotions. Why wouldn't we? So now, after these 3 people have told their stories, I'm now checking in with the listeners. Are there any obstacles to listening? One must always check in with the listeners. Well, a man stands up. He's from Germany. He says, listen, well, you know all what happened to my grandparents. You know, they were Nazis, and we know about that. And I'd feel very uncomfortable talking about my grandparents. And then somebody else says, oh, women. Weak. They're so weak. Look at them, all of them in tears here. That's the reason why women don't advance in organizations. They don't know how to manage their emotions. Then finally, the VP stands up. He starts screaming at me. If I would have known you were going to upset my people like this, I would never have hired you. I don't like my people to be put into such uncomfortable situations. What was I to do? I just stood there and listened. I listened to the obstacles to listening, right? That's my job. Listen openly and let them go. I said to the vice president, are you done? Are you finished? Anything more you want to say so that you can carry on listening? Oh, I guess I'm done. Let's continue then. And so I listened to all those grandparent stories. At the airport, I was leaving. the airport in Larnaca, and a man from Singapore came up to me. He said, "Wow, that was quite a conference. We've never had anything quite like that before." I said, "Well, how was it for you?" He said, "You put a golden string through our hearts in a very mystical way." And then, just as a preparation for writing my book, I went back to one of the business leaders who had attended that conference, and I said to him, "Tell me, we're going back 10 years now, but could you tell me, what did you think about that conference?" He said it was the right thing for the right occasion. We needed something powerful that would bring us all together. He said it was one of the most memorable trainings I've ever been to, but it was also one of the most controversial, because people were not used to be taken outside of their comfort zones. So that was 10 years ago, and the world has come a long way since then. But I was quite amazed to hear about the attitudes towards women that were still prevalent in this very progressive company 10 years ago.